Hello and thank you for watching. This is Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano. This is video number 4 in the series on Chopin's Nocturne in D flat. In this video, we are going to cover measure 16, left hand fingering, right hand articulation, and rhythm hands together. If you would like to review anything about D flat major, I'm going to refer you to the beginning of video number 1. If you would like to review 3 versus 2, I'm going to refer you to the video number 2 where we discuss that in detail, or my full video on how to play 3 against 2. So let's get started. We're going to start just with the left hand fingering. Left hand fingering, there's one fingering, 5, 1, 4, 1, 2, 5, 5, 1, 4, 1, 2, 5, 5. So now let's start going over the right hand. You will see up above, I've circled the little chunks that I'll be going over step by step. So let's start with the first one. I'll start with fingering because there's only one fingering for this, and it is 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. Some editions have a slur ending on that 5, 3. And some editions have the slur ending at the end of the quintuplet. The quintuplet's that group that is joined together with the little 5 underneath. So that's the next thing we're going to address because this is the most difficult part of this measure. The right hand is playing 5 notes in the same space that the left hand is playing 4 notes. Now we're going to put that 5 against 4 together. I've got a few tips to help you do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out exactly how they fit together. And to do that, we've got to create a common denominator of 20 because the right hand has 5 notes and the left hand has 4. Okay, so if you look up above, you'll see my graph with the 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It gets a little wordy to say all those numbers. So what I found is it's a little bit easier to count to 5 a bunch of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. Because that's a little bit easier to say. And that's also good practice for when we do the whole measure. We've got these fast subdivisions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then later we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2. So getting used to the amount of subdivisions. So we can lock that in by putting our left hand on 50 for a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to fit the right hand in with that per the graph above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. So do that a few times. Take note of where you have them following each other right away. You have a right left, and then you have a left right near the end. So after you've done that a bunch of times with metronome equals 50 for the left hand, then you can speed it up and see if you can still do it. Then after that, you're going to take your metronome and you're going to put it so it clicks on beat 1 and beat 3. You'll see what I've circled up above, okay? So I have my metronome on 40 and I'm going to fit 5 notes into that before it clicks again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, click. Left hand's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, click. 1, 2, 3, 4, click. Then you do it back and forth. Right, left. Right, left. Then try it together. It might be rough at first. Do it a bunch of times. There we go. So did you see how it was a little bit rough at first? But then after doing it over and over, my right hand got independent of the left hand. So those are the ways to practice that 5 against 4 polyrhythm. Just know that that is very, very difficult and it might take a long time before you get it, and that's okay. All right, so the next part is circled. We've got a 32nd note followed by a grace note followed by a 16th note. And there's a bunch of fingerings for this. Let me see, I'm going to give you 4 options. Okay, so we have 2, 1, grace note, touch that 2, 1 again, and then come up to 4-2. Okay? Or we could switch the note in the middle. So 2-1, 3-1, 4-2. Or you could do 3-1 for both. 3-1, 3-1, 4-2. And then finally, you could also try 4-2, 3-1, 4-2. So what you got to do is figure out, does your hand like to switch on the grace note? Or does it like to stay on the same? You also might find it's easier to do a non-switch on a grand piano, but you might need to switch on a digital or a vertical. All right? So in terms of articulation, it's usually written with a slur on the first 32nd note. The grace note kind of falls underneath that slur. So you lift on the end of that, okay? I find it, when I'm playing these 3-note little tiny figures, I find it very useful to have an anchor point. And usually for my hand, it anchors on the middle note. So what I mean by that is you're gonna touch the first note and then feel down, up, touch, down, up. Because otherwise you're playing down, down, up, and you're using a lot of energy. We want to just have it fit into one gesture. See, my hand's just kind of going down, up, but I'm playing a lot of notes. Okay, so now let's talk about the rhythm. I'm going to show you the rhythm without the grace note first. It's a nice, easy rhythm. 3 E and a 4. 3 E and a 4. So you can do the grace note two ways. You can either do it on the note, which would sound like this. And you'd get up to this before you play that A flat, okay? Let me do that a little more quickly. Or you can do it before, which would sound like this slowly. Which would almost be like 2 64th notes, super fast notes. All right, now let's do the third little group of right hand notes. It's going to feel similar to the second group that we just went over, but I want you to note a couple of things. First thing is the rhythm is a little bit different. We have a little 3 underneath, which means it's part of a triplet. Item number 2 is that there's that little squiggle above. And what that means is you're going to play a short trill. In this case, it's a super short trill. It's just 3 notes, A flat, B flat, A flat. That trill will be on the beat, by the way. So together, together, trill, trill, together. Okay, so now let's go over the fingerings. I'm going to give you 3 of them. Fingering number 1, 3, 1, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. Or we could start on 2, 1, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. Or we could start on 5, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. I want you to take a look at the angle of my hand. No matter which fingering I'm choosing to do, once I get done with that first note, I'm angling my hand like this so I can cross over with that 3, 2. Let me do that again. 3, 1, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. Look at the angle going like this. 2, 1, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. Or 5, 3. Makes that a lot easier. Okay, so instead of going over the rhythm right now, I'm going to do the rhythm as a group because as you can see above, there's 2 groups of triplets and they're going to fit in together a certain way. So let me just go over the fingering and articulation for the second groups and then we'll do the rhythm all together. So the next group, I'm going to suggest 2 fingerings for you. 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2 or 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2. Again, it's going to feel touch down up and the up's going to be a lift, okay? And then finally, the last group, which goes into that next measure 17, is going to be 3 notes once again. And there's 3 fingerings, which I'll show you. 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, or 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2. Again, articulation, touch down up. You may find those finger switches a little tricky. I know I certainly do. The key is you have to really play it on the tip. If you play it on the flat part of your fingers, you have more finger that you have to grab. So any of these places that you're switching, stay really on the tips. And you can stand up so you can find the place on your tips, which is the last point before your hands crash, okay? All right. So now we've got our threes, which look a little bit different because there is a 30-second rest in there. We're still going to subdivide by 30-second notes in groups of triplets. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or using ta and tiki. So let me show you what I mean by that. Before with the 3 against 2, we had a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, instead of having a note on that second 2, we're going to have a rest, and then the note will come in on the 3. So it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm putting the grace note in there so you just hear how it goes. So if I do that with the left hand's still just coming in on 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. See how that works? So now with the ta, tiki, ta, if we like that way of doing it, before we had ta, tiki, ta. Now, where the ta would be, there's a rest. So we're going to put another tiki there. Ta, tiki, tiki, ta, tiki, tiki, ta. Ta, tiki, tiki, ta, tiki, tiki, ta. See how that works? So now when we add the trill, we're just going to fit them in there really quickly using whichever fingering works best. So the way the counting will work with the trill is exactly the same. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Or ta, tiki, tiki, ta, tiki, tiki, ta. Figure out if either of those methods can help you line up the rhythm. So now I'm just going to play through the whole measure with the breakdowns. First time through, I will do left hand metronome at 50, and then I'll play it with no metronome. So remember, we're going to subdivide each of these into 5 for the first part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now I'll just do a quick playthrough. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm just going to slowly make my way through this piece. If you found it helpful, please subscribe to my channel, send me a donation on PayPal, share it with other people who you feel might benefit from this type of instruction. I have lots of different other videos as well. If you've watched my videos before, you know I love to know where you're from. So please leave that for me in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.